Greetings everybody! Welcome to another R video. In this brief video, I'm going to show you how to read data into R using a couple of different file types. So the easiest and most straightforward way to do that is to import the dataset. And so if you click the Import Dataset button from the Environment tab in RStudio, it'll give you this import from text base, which is what I typically use to import a CSV file. But you see it'll also give me the option to import a file type from Excel, or an SPSS file type, a SAS file type, or a stata file type. This is pretty straightforward. If I selected one of these options, it would give me a pop-up window where I could rename the data, and I could indicate if the first row of the data are actual values from a respondent, or if the first row of the data is a set of labels for the variables, which is typically the case. And so you typically want to select the option, yes, the first row are the labels of the variables. So that's probably how most people using RStudio will import data. But if you want to use the, if you want to type out the syntax to import data, there are a couple of fairly simple commands that you can use. So the first is the read.csv command. And to do this, you would just type what you want the name of the data frame to be in R. So I'm going to call this ANES because, in this example, I'll be importing data from the American National Election Study. And so I'll title it ANES equals, and then read.csv is the command, left parentheses, left quotation mark. And then within the quotation marks, I need to type the actual path address of the file on my computer. So on this computer, the file is in users, Warner BE, and then I've created a subfolder within my user space called R, and then the name of the data set that I want to read in is ANES2020.csv. So there's a CSV file in an R folder in my following this subdirectory path. And if I run this command, it will read in that ANES 2020 CSV file. And so if you see, I have read that in, and now if I run the names ANES, you'll see that it'll give me the names of all of the variables in that data set, which is just a nice way to confirm that it did in fact import the data set that you wanted it to import. The problem with this technique is that it requires you to know the local address of the file and to type the whole thing in manually. So another solution or workaround to that is you can change your working directory so that you only have to type the file name and not the path to locate the file name. So by default, my working directory would be users / Warner BE. But I actually changed it to the R folder in the Warner BE folder using this setwd command. So I just typed setwd left paren left quotation mark / users / Warner BE / R right quotation mark right paren. And that syntax changed my working directory to be the R folder that the ANES CSV file lives in for me. You can set your working directory to any path that you want, and then you can check to see what your working directory is by using the getwd left paren right paren syntax. And so then you can say, oh, all right, so my current working directory is that R folder. If I make sure that the data set that I want to read in is in that R folder, then I can truncate the command that I need to type to be ANES equals read.csv left paren left quotation mark the name of the file itself. So here the name of the file is ANES2020.csv right quotation mark right paren. And that works just as well as the above, provided the file is in your working directory. You can also change your working directory if you don't know the exact address of the folder that you want your working directory to be. You can go to the Session menu, go to Set Working Directory, select the Choose Directory option, and then you can just identify the folder that you want your working directory to be that way. Okay, if you want to read in a file that's not a CSV file, but it might be a SPSS file or a stata file or a SAS file, then you'll want the Haven package. And so you can install the Haven package, it's H-A-V-E-N, using the install.packages and library commands. So install.packages, left paren, left quotation, Haven, right quotation, right paren, and then library, left paren, left quotation, Haven, right quotation, right paren. And that'll install the Haven package and load the Haven package, and then you can use some of the commands from the Haven package, such as read_sav and read_dta. So here I'm creating a new data set called ANES1. So I have ANES1 equals read_sav, and then the parenthesis quotation, and within the quotations and parentheses, the name of the data set, the data file, the SPSS file in my working directory. And if this file isn't in your working directory, then you'll either need to change the working directory to where this file lives, or put it in your working directory, or manually type out the full address for where it lives on your computer. Note that SPSS files have a .sav extension, and so that's why it's read_sav, and that's why my file is called ANES2020.sav. To do a stata file, the stata files have the extension .dta, and so predictably the command is read_dta. So the full command is ANES2, which is just the name I'm giving this file. It can be whatever name you would like to give your file. So ANES2 equals read_dta, left paren, left quotation mark, ANES2020.dta, which is just the name of the file in my working directory. Then close the quotation, close the parentheses, and these commands will each read in a new data file that you can work with in R from either a .sav, which is an SPSS file, or a .dta, which is a stata file. So those are a couple of techniques to read in different file types using the syntax, or using the button that you can click that says import data. Hopefully, if you're watching this video, it's because you've been wondering, how do I get my data into R? And you're now thinking, well, that's simple enough. I suspect most people probably just click the import data button in RStudio. That's certainly what I do most of the time, but maybe that's not available to you as the simplest option for one reason or another, and the read.csv or read_sav commands will be useful for you. Thanks for watching.